Hello everyone, this is Jaya for the session of digitalization. Today we are going to discuss about the importance of digitalization with the examples, scenarios and the definition, but dealing with the interesting case study which involves digitalization tool in the business model. So the first part would be a scenario where there were two friends in the name of Bob and David, where Bob is earning less, whereas David is earning more. So the reason behind uh, the reason behind the why Bob is earning so less because he's using in a traditional way of methods by taking all the paperwork, collecting it a bunch of papers with him, and and he couldn't complete the services on time. Whereas David is earning more. Why? Because he's putting all the documentation, all the approvals, all this services to be done online, and he's helping the customer in getting more and more services from him. But he is doing all those things in a less time period. But whereas Bob is struggling to do or complete the services for the customer, which is taking more and more time. So that is the reason the customers are not happy with the service of the Bob. On the other hand, the customers are really happy with the service of the David because he is using the digitalization tool in his business. Whereas Bob is using the traditional way where he's not having uh, much advantages. Plus, he is taking lot and lot time to complete the services of the customers. So, in the next scenario, we would understand what is the difference between the traditional method and the digital method. When we talk about the traditional method, it comes around that it has a more manpower is used, more time consumption is there, then it is a slow processing, risk of error is very high, and a very high costing. When you talk about in a traditional way, these things are always involved when you're doing it in a physical manner because many people are have to work on it. He has to go here and there to collect all the documents for the people for the consumers, and it is taking a lot time to execute or to process those files instantly. But whereas in a digitalization tool, it is not taking that much of time because everything is on an online platform and everything is processing very fast, very instantly. And that's what the customer need today because we all in this era where everybody wants the solution to be instantly, not too much be delayed. So in a digitalization method, less manpower is used, less time is consumed, the low costing is there, then the fast processing is there, and the risk of errors is very low. So you can understand the difference if I'm doing a business on an online platform and I have these advantages. So it would be understandable that we can able to help the customer more and more ways, whereas in a traditional way we can't do these things because it is not possible, because you have to take everything in a physical manner and we don't know that any of the document can be disappear or it can be lost somewhere, and we have to draft the entire thing again. But in a digitalization way, we can do each and everything very instantly. We can book the tickets, we can book the accommodation, we can we can process the visa part for the consumers so easily, so they don't have to wait for their service to be done. So it will be done instantly, and that is why the digitalization method is being told is an important tool when we are doing our business on an online platform. Second would be, what is digitalization? So if I want to discuss about what is digitalization, they are comprised of 4 points, yeah, 4 pillars which describe digitalization. First would be the technology, second would be the data, third would be the process, and fourth would be the organizational change. So how would you discuss about the technology? The technology which we use for our business module for an online platform, it creates the new technology or it modifies that the existing technology so that so that the process should be uh, smooth and it should be efficient according to the market situation. to the current market situation where you are running your business. Second would be the importance of data. So the data which provides a real time and the great visibility for your product, which is you always required when you are running a business. Because if market analysis for your particular data, or you are compiling the data for your product, it gives you real time your visibility key where your product stands in this current market situation. So these two are interconnected. When we are talking about technology, then we are talking about the data. So these two are interconnected with it, because when you connect this technology, you also have the data with it. Third would be, I describe the automation process. So when we are talking about the automation process, which involves new techniques, which makes the complexity of the business activity smoother, and which becomes transparent and efficient for both the consumers and the business owners, because this process makes more easier for the consumers, so that they can don't have to find or don't have to dig around. He or she can find each and everything, whatever he is finding in the app or the website, it is right there on that particular page. He doesn't have to go here and there. That's what makes the process easier for the consumer. That is why the automation process is required when you are running an online business towards it. So this is what the entire thing is connected with each other. So last point comes with the organizational change. So when I talk about the organizational change, so when the consumers is asking for the products or asking for the other product, many things are there when the consumer is asking for the service and everything. So what would be the organizational change for the business owner? So to meet those demands of the consumers, he has to make some changes in the organization, so that he can meet over achieving targets for the consumer. Because consumer every day and day out makes a new requirement or a new things he wants or he demands from the brand or the company, that he should be given it. So that's why uh, if they have to achieve the demands of the consumers, they require that they have to make an organizational change into it, and they have to make it more and more overreaching, so that they can help the consumer, they can meet the demands, and they can make the customer happy with their services. So this is what comprises the four pillars with the definition of the digitalization. Second would be the importance of digitalization. When we talk about the importance of digitalization, there would be a three key points which we always have to keep in mind. So first would be the risk of errors. Everybody know that in a digitalization tool, the risk of errors is very low, because we can rectify it, we can fix it, we can do anything if we are working on a data or we are working on some services which we are giving to the consumers. And if there is an error, if it is something has gone wrong, we can rectify it online, whether you are booking for a tickets, whether you are booking for any course, or whether you are booking for an online class. If there's something goes wrong, you can rectify it immediately on an online platform, with the assistance of that particular website or an app or the company. But can you do that in a traditional way? No. If there's something has gone wrong, you have to do the entire legwork again for to achieve it. So this is taking a lot of time, and in a digitalization tool, it takes less time and it makes the person happy, because it is saving his time. His or her, if I say, if I would in that particular place, I would be also satisfied that I got the service and I'm pretty much happy with the work they have done for me, or they have assisted me to get it rectified. Second point would be the securing of the docs. Whatever you are having the docs, documents for your data or something, for the contracts, proposals, procedures for your business, they are kept in an online platform, but it is really secured. Why it is secure? Because today's world, we are working on our laptops, we are keeping all the documents in the folders, and we are using the antivirus also to keep them safe. And if somewhere in some scenario, if I tell it is lost or it is happened something, it can be rectified, uh, it can be retrieved from online platform. But when you are talking about traditional way, you can't do all those things because it takes a hell lot of time to retrieve it, or you, on the other hand, you have to make the entire document again or entire data again, which is a really time consuming, and nobody wants that time to be wasted in doing in a traditional way. So everybody thinks in a mind when they are running that business, that should be in a digital tool where it is easy to get each and everything secured, and it can be having that thing in a mind that those documents, if they are lost in some or the other way, we can retrieve it. And the third, the last point for this importance is the retention of the customer, which you all know, whoever any business is running, retention is customer is the most and the foremost point, because if you give the service to the customer and he is satisfied, he or she is satisfied with your service, he will recommend your website, your channel, your apps to the other people, so that you can get an increase for your consumer, plus you get the profits. So these things comprises only when you satisfy your customer with your service. So the retention of the customer is the real importance of the digitalization, where whenever you get any package wrong, or it is a damage or anything, if you get a good assistance through it, through the app, through the company, through the brand, so you'll be happy and you'll recommend those things. So that is what comprises of the importance, these three key points which are really important when you are running the business on an online platform, and which is very useful. It saves your times a lot, which you agree with it. Then I'll talk about the examples of digitalization. When I'm talking about the examples of digitalization, every paperwork, you all know the paperwork are really a pain, because nobody wants to keep all the paperwork to themselves. They wanted a easy way to make their task easier, more easier. So how would they do it? So creating all the forms, whether it's a school form or uh, I take an example of a school form. If your kid is going to a school, and in earlier days, a person has to go for an to fill up a form and then have an interview of the kid, and there are a lot of things were going on in a tradition, and it was taking time for processing it. But when you see for an online, today there are online classes also there. So they have to just fill a form, they can take the interview online, and the processing part becomes fast, really fast, if you are going for an admission for your kid. So that's the reason, that is a difference, a huge difference between a traditional and the digital method, where traditional method is taking like 15 to 20 days to process that file, whereas digital tool is taking only 2 to 3 days to process that file, because that is what the entire people require it, and we want our service to be instant. Everybody wants the service to be at the doorstep. Why the person will go here and there to search for the service? Everybody wants to sit at a home and get the service, and whatever he requires, he can pay it online. So that is what the advantages when we are talking about a digitalization too. We can buy, purchase, we rent, we can do anything sitting at home and working on our laptop. Even if we are in office, we can do our work very easily instead of traveling from one place to another. So you all agree that digitalization tool is really important for our business. Then we come for the advantages of the digitalization. From all the we have taken the scenario, we have taken the importance, we have taken the definition. From there, we are taking the advantages. So what is the main advantages? Is the time saving. Second would be a cost saving. Third would be the accuracy. Fourth would be the easy distribution. And fifth would be secured, and last would be the increase in profit. So time saving, you all agree that if we are working from home or we are working from office and we are looking whatever we need to buy or rent or anything, we can do it at our laptop without wasting our time to going from one place to another in search of a product. Cost saving, because if you're not traveling, it's just a cost saving for you. You're sitting at a home and you're using your Wi-Fi and getting a search for the particular products. Third would be the accuracy, where which I have told, when you are doing anything, whether you are booking a ticket, whether you're booking any service for your home or for your business, so there would be an accuracy and there would be a risk of errors is very low. Easy distribution, whenever you have to promote your brand or your company or your anything, you can do it on a social media pages where you can grab 1000 to 2000 customers, where they can have a thought about it. Okay, this product is also in this particular website also, because they are only trying only one website. But if you are giving or promoting that information in social media pages, it is grabbing the attention of other customers also. Second last point would be the secured, where we are talking about that documents are really very secured when we are talking about it, because we can retrieve it, we can fix it if the data is in our laptop. But in a traditional way, we can't retrieve it and we can't fix it. We have to make the whole lot again. And last would be the increase in profits. When we are talking about increase in profit, it is the means of the retention of your customers with your proactive service which you are giving to them. So that is what we are talking about, because if you retain those customers, you will have your increased profit. You can run your business smooth. That is what the tool digitalization is important for the running of business on an online platform. And these are the key points which are really the pillars for this particular tool. So that is why I would recommend digitalization is really important for our business. Now we are concluding this session with the of digitalization with an interesting case study, but we are dealing with a QR code. My case study for today is the QR code for the product packaging. So everybody knows what are products and what are product packaging, and everybody is buying all sort of product, whether it is a food, whether it is an electronic, whether it is a dress, whether it is anything. So in every product you have a QR code, and how it is enhanced or how it has an impact in your business which you're running in an online platform, that I would be discussing. And you all know QR code is a simple image but has a powerful impact in your business part also, because it's an innovative thing and it has a number of uses which I am going to tell you in this case study. So So as per the picture, it can be in a supermarket, it can be anywhere, it can be in a supermarket, it can be in a shoe store, it can be in a dress store, it can be anything. So what my things are, what I observe in a product packaging, how the QR code is used. So the foremost point would be the QR codes. The first point which I'm discussing is about for product packaging would be QR code for products. Why it has been given to the product, the QR code, the reason behind in product packaging, it gives the details of that particular product, which includes the customer to know about the ingredients or the components of that particular product which they are buying. So that is the important thing, when you get the information in a one hand by scanning it, and it becomes useful for the consumer. It benefits for the consumer because he doesn't have to go here and there to search for a product. He can just scan it and get the details, whether if it is a food, he can get the ingredients of that particular product what he's buying. Plus if he's buying some other things, he can get the components, he can get the uh, detailed information for that particular product. That is why the QR code is important for the product packaging in a label as well. Second point would be QR code can be, there would be a video link to the QR code. So how it is impacting, or what is the importance, you'll ask. So if I tell you, the QR code is to elaborate how your product, whatever the product is, your, whether it is a electronic, whether it is anything. So it, if the video is linked, even a purse, if you're buying from a high design or somewhere, I'm just taking an example. So if you're taking a purse for any brand or anything, so they always, if you see on a website, they always create a video for that particular purse or particular model to show you how it works, how it looks, how it works for you. So this is how a video, if it is attached with that QR code, it becomes a boost for the consumer, that he can understand what is that product actually is. That is why the QR code is really important in a product packaging, that can be used for the detailing. Second, it can be used for the video linkage, where you can just elaborate how your product works. Third, so in a QR code, you can add the social media. Why it is important to add a social media in product packaging? It is because you can boost it online for your product. So when you are doing this product packaging by including that social media for QR code, it is a digital tool. It makes the sharing, and it is connecting virtually with your customer. And it is more easier when you do it, when your product is on social media, which I told you, in a digitalization tool, when you boost your, or you promote your product or your company with a QR code in a social media, it becomes easier to connect with the consumer, because nowadays every consumer is it online, and they are only looking online products. Nobody is going anywhere any else they are going to look out for that particular product. They're just going to the laptop and searching for their social media pages, or they're looking into the Google. That is saving his time. But if you're putting that QR code with the social media, it becomes an easy connect, that the person can land as soon as it scan. It lands to your social media pages, and he or she can get the information about your product, or the brand, or your company. Fourth point would be the customer feedback. So when we are talking about the easier way to get the feedback, so how do you get in a product packaging this feedback if the QR code is attached to it? How it is enhanced? So the enhanced part would be like this: when you are bought that particular product, any product, there would be, after buying that product, you will get a survey or a feedback form. If you can attach that form in a QR code, the as soon as the person has bought it, you can fill up that feedback. Okay, this product is good or not, or this product is damaged, or it is not working properly. This type of survey you always get when you bought it online. So, can you think about, in a traditional way, do you get these survey from a traditional way of method in doing business? No, you can't get it, because once the person has taken that particular product or an item from your shop, he's not coming back. If he has, okay, in some scenario, the person has got a good product from your shop, that doesn't mean he will come back and give you this feedback. He'll come back after some time when he requires it. But if you are buying it online and you are getting that feedback, so that is an opportunity where your instant feedback has an opportunity for you, for the business to improvise their product, to give more and more improvisation into those products. So this is what, how the customer feedback plays a vital role when you are attaching that QR code in that product packaging. So product packaging gives a multiple uses with this QR code. Second would be, which I think, faster alternative, or I can say a faster source for tracking the inventory for your business. QR code if is attached to this product packaging, and there is a QR code which is a one more thing you can do with this, that is to track your inventory. So in this inventory you get the text code, whatever you are doing. If you're running a business and there are a lot of packages, so there would be a text content on that particular package, and if you scan it, so you can put the serial number, and where after scanning there would be a serial number. Many people put this in packages, so you can just track the inventory, and it is very useful when you are doing an inventory for your product in your business. So that is also an important point or a takeaway when you are using these QR codes in a product packaging. So in this session you can understand that product packaging is also a one thing. So QR code is really enhancing and improvising day by day in a product packaging. So these points which I've told about, that is to get, the first thing would be to attach the product details through the QR code on the product packaging. Second would be a video linkage where you can elaborate your product, how it works. Third point would be adding that social media to that particular QR code in the product packaging, so that the landing page would be in your social media page and he can just understand how the company is. Fourth point would be the customer feedback. When after buying that product, you can attach that feedback form to that QR code, and you can get that feedback instantly from the customer, and you can improvise your product. And the last part would be the QR code you can use for the inventory tracking for your product packages. So that is what these six takeaway points for the session, and which is really important when you're running a business on an online platform. Whereas I'm representing the company of Uxlivinglab, where we are dealing with the QR code, but is it the same way we can also help, because we are a market research consultant and we usually work on the customer insights, uh, the voice of the customers, and we can really help you to understand where your product is standing, where your company is standing, and we can give you some ideas to improvise it, because we day in day out we used to talk to the customer for your brand, for your company, for your product, so we can understand what actually customer wants, and we'll help you to understand how to improvise your product, whatever the product you are selling. So that's the reason we can be more helpful to you for your business. And we are the registration part for this, it's a really easy. So I would be sharing and the QR code where you can just land to our particular page, which I'll show you this. Then you will understand how it works, what are the features, what are the pricing, and how is your budget is fitting to this particular thing or not, and what else you required from us, what services you required. We can help you out by simply creating a QR code in our site, and we'll help you to run your business smooth. So that is why we do all the research, we do all the strategy planning. Also we try to make something that your business can be profitable. So that's the reason I want you guys that please scan this QR code and just try to understand how we work. And if you have further question or something, you can just book an appointment, for which I'll be giving a calendar link. So you can just book an appointment and we'll let you know how our company works, how our products work, how what are the features, what are the pricing, what discount we can give you, what type of things we can do. We'll let you know when you scan it, when you come to us and to ask us the further question regarding our company or our product. So this is would be our session for today. Thank you for joining us.